But first, let's go ahead and cover the first story, guys. New Jersey man charged with planning to firebomb Palestinian activists' New York home. Absolutely crazy.
Breaking at 5, the NYPD and FBI says that they foiled a plot to firebomb the house of a well-known Palestinian activist.
Okay, Fox 5's Linda
Merkius, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Appreciate you.
Schmidt joins us now with what we know. Linda, wow.
Well, first of all, the major breaking news here today, the NYPD and the FBI raiding the suspect's home. This happened in Hoboken, New Jersey last night. They say
Hoboken, guys, is right across the river. Literally, it's like right there. You can actually see the whole New York City skyline from there.
They found 8 Molotov cocktails and prevented an assassination plot. And tonight, a New Jersey man is under arrest. Now, law enforcement says this woman that you're looking at right here, she is 31-year-old Nardine Kiswani. She was the target of the assassination plot. She lives in Brooklyn with her husband and infant son. Kiswani is a high-profile activist who has organized several controversial pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel protests. She co-founded the group Within Our Lifetime. Now, at one of the protests, she was interviewed by Fox 5.
Standing with the people of Gaza and Palestine that have been under a crippling siege and blockade for the better part of the last 2 decades.
And take a look at this right here. This is the suspect's home in Hoboken. He has been identified as 26-year-old Alexander Heifler. The NYPD says one of its undercover detectives infiltrated a group chat that he was a member of, and he befriended him several weeks ago, and then at the suspect's home yesterday saw the Molotov cocktails.
Crazy.
Authorities say that he planned to throw them at Kiswani's home and at 2 parked cars outside of her home.
Now, guys, let me tell y'all something, bro. No one ever talks about this, but Zionist terrorism is a very real thing. The state of Israel was created via terrorism. I've explained this many times to you guys, whether it be the Haganah Stern Gang or Lehi. Israel was created, the foundation of Israel was created via terrorism, okay, with all types of massacres. The Deir Yassin massacre is the biggest one, but there were many others, obviously the Nakba, etc. So no one ever talks about it, though, right? They'll sit there and they'll blame Muslims and say Muslims are terrorists, blah, blah, blah. Fair. You want to go ahead and make fun of the Muslims? I will go ahead and join you in that. As a Muslim myself, I will make fun of them and call them retarded go-fuckers alongside you. However, we must be honest here and also identify, right, and talk about what no one wants to talk about, which is Zionist terrorism is a very real thing, and it is how the state of Israel was created. The only difference between the Muslim terrorist organizations and the Jewish terrorist organizations is the Jewish terrorist organizations were smart enough to rebrand, okay? They were smart enough to rebrand. They went from Haganah and Irgun and Lehi to the IDF, okay? You want to talk about the King David Hotel bombing, or Menachem Begin, or all the other terrorist attacks that the Israelis conducted prior to the creation of Israel, and even after, okay? Israeli terrorism is not something new at all. Shout out to Top Shape with the big one, Hundo. He says, bro, I hear coping fa by multiple streamers, but won't copy your JQ. Glad you attack your back, bro. Red Report is a great film. Absolutely, absolutely. You guys know my brother can definitely hold it down. Very skilled orator. Right here, coping fa by multiple streamers, but won't copy your JQ. Yeah, dude, the thing is this. The reason why is because other people are too scared to call out them boys like I do. They just are. You know what I mean? And that's fine. I get it. They don't want to get demonetized. They don't want to get fucking banned. They don't want to lose certain opportunities. Because if you go too hard on this topic, you know, they will absolutely silence you or censor you from certain platforms. So, you know, yeah. Alejandro Ramirez says, the Pentagon said that it's preparing for a ground invasion. Yeah, that's a big fucking L. That's a big fucking L. You should do a debate in Norway at the NHH Finance Union, Myron. Yeah, I'd probably get arrested, bro. I can't go to these countries where there's no free speech, guys. Look, guys, I'm sorry. Bro, all you guys in Europe, you guys are fucking cooked, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all, bro. You guys are cooked. Your countries don't got free speech. I can't fucking go there. They're going to put me in jail for, like, you know, some bullshit, like, law. They'll call me a Nazi or some shit. Like, I'm not going to Europe, bro. I'm sorry. Like, you niggas are just cooked. I'm not going to fucking Europe or going to jail, bro. For saying that, like, you know, it was a 6M or some other bullshit like that. No thanks.
The criminal complaint says the Molotov cocktails contained Everclear, which is a highly flammable alcohol. Well, Fox 5 spoke with some of the suspects' neighbors.
These guys have been here for quite a while, went to Stevens. They really didn't interact with the people on the street. No eye contact.
One of my neighbors called my husband and said, "Do you see what's going on outside?" Because there were no sirens, very little activity in like, the lights and everything.
Right.
But when I looked out, there were, the dark SUVs were going down the street. And then there were a ton of FBI agents.
And also today, Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch issued a statement saying in part, quote, "This is exactly how our intelligence and counterterrorism operation is designed to work. A sophisticated apparatus built to detect danger early and prevent violence before it reaches our streets." And once again, the target of this plot, Nurdeen Kiswani, well, she has been active on social media today, posting about the alleged threat.
Of course. So here's some of the footage of them actually taking a guy into custody today, by the way, guys.
A New Jersey man with ties to a pro-Israel violent extremist group now facing charges of trying to carry out a firebomb attack on the home of a prominent Palestinian activist. Andrew Ramos has...
Rare W for the FBI actually going after one of them boys being a fucking terrorist.
New video of his arrest and the moment police moved in.
All of a sudden, I heard this banging, boom, 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 FBI, open up.
Cell phone video obtained by CBS News New York shows the moment Alexander Heifler was taken into custody by the FBI. The scene unfolded Thursday night, leaving many along Willow Terrace in Hoboken rattled beyond belief.
I was panicked because I saw these guys with like AK-47s, machine guns. I've never seen a gun like that.
You mean AR-15s? It's okay, she's a woman.
Up close.
Shocked. Who would have thought?
Heifler's arrest, the end result of what was a weeks-long undercover investigation led by the NYPD. According to a criminal complaint, the 26-year-old...
Which we have right here, guys. Here's a criminal complaint. You guys know I like to always pull this thing up and read it through with you guys. So they're basically getting him for unlawful possession of firearms and unlawful making of firearms. Special Agent Gerald Casertino, sounds like an Italian guy. FBI special agents, boom, boom, boom. So it goes here, on or about March 26, 2026 in Hudson County in the District of New Jersey and elsewhere, the defendant knowingly possessed firearms as defined in Title 26, United States Code section, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then unlawful making of firearms. So here's attachment B. A special agent FBI, this information contained in the complaint is based upon my personal knowledge as well as information obtained from other sources, including statements made or reported by various witnesses with knowledge of relevant facts, my review of publicly available information, and see my review of evidence, including audio and video surveillance and other documents. Because this complaint is being submitted for a limited purpose, I have now set forth every fact that I know concerning this investigation, where the contents of documents and actions and statements of others are reported. They're reported substance and in part, except where otherwise indicated. So basically what he's saying is, like, I'm not showing you guys everything that I know. I'm just giving you guys enough for probable cause, right? So on or about February 10, 2026, the defendant, Heifler, participated in a video call with a group of individuals. Among those individuals, an undercover law enforcement officer of the UC. During the call, after stating that he had to be careful about what he was about to say, Heifler asked the group whether anyone had space to do training for how to use instruments that were not knives, guns, or crossbows for self-defense. Heifler then clarified that he was looking for space where he could throw Molotovs. After Heifler made that comment, the UC sent Heifler a message via an encrypted messaging application stating, "Hey, let's talk about that in person. Don't say that on here." Heifler responded, "Don't use the M word. Copy that." The following day, on or about February 11th, Heifler and the UC met in person. During the meeting, Heifler discussed vandalizing the home of a certain individual, victim one. That's probably the Palestinian chick. Heifler then began to discuss Molotov cocktails selling the UC and some substance that Molotov cocktails were not complicated to make and discussed using a Molotov cocktail against an individual target. Heifler told the UC, undercover, that he had an escape plan referring to a plan to leave the country at the end of April. In response to the UC telling Heifler that he had a car that they could use, Heifler stated that they would need to obtain fake license plates for the car. Heifler stated that he wanted to carry out the attack shortly before he left the country. Heifler then said in some substance, "I'm thinking like Shout out to O'Langley. Thank you so much for the subscription. He says, I'm thinking that if we want to go after the victim, we have the address. So it's like that would be easier if they'd be more comfortable with that. However, then provided an overview of the plan. No IDs, no phones, in and out. Heifler and the UC then made plans to meet again in a few weeks. On or about March 4, 2026, Heifler and the UC met again in person. During that meeting, Heifler and the UC drove to the victim one's residence to conduct surveillance using an address provided by Heifler. Heifler told the UC that he had made a Molotov cocktail before and that he had tested a Molotov cocktail for DNA using a kit that he had purchased at a pharmacy. Because the DNA testing resulted in traces of Heifler's DNA on the Molotov cocktail, Heifler told the UC that they would need gloves to carry out their plan. Heifler and the UC then discussed their plan to build approximately 12 Molotov cocktails. Heifler also planned exactly where to throw the Molotov cocktails at victim one residence and suggested throwing several Molotov cocktails at the victim one residence and 2 Molotov cocktails at cars parked outside the victim one residence. Heifler also told the UC the address where they could hide out after they threw the Molotov cocktails. Heifler and the UC further discussed throwing Molotov cocktails approximately 2 days before Heifler left the country. Man. You know what the crazy part is, chat? They probably got this all on recording. Definitely got this all on recording. On or about March 23rd, 2026, Heifler and the UC communicated through text message on an encrypted messaging application. During the conversation, Heifler and the UC discussed making Molotov cocktails the week of March 23rd, 2026, while Heifler telling the UC in some substance, yeah, Thursday night would be the best to bake. Nigga said Thursday, March 26th would be the best to bake. On or about March 26, 2020, March 24, 2026, Heifler and the UC communicated through text message on a encrypted messaging application. During the conversation, Heifler and the UC confirmed their meeting for Thursday, March 26, 2026, and ultimately agreed to meet Heifler's residence in Hoboken, New Jersey. Heifler told the UC that his plans to leave the country were delayed until mid-May. How much you guys want to bet bro's going to go to Israel? On or about March 26, 2026, Heifler and the UC met at Heifler's residence as planned. When the UC met with Heifler, Heifler was carrying a large bottle of Everclear, a liquor with a high alcohol content. Heifler also had other components to make the Molotov cocktails present at the residence. Also on or about March 26 at Heifler's residence, the UC and Heifler assembled 8 Molotov cocktails. Heifler's wet 8 corks, and 1 cork was placed in each of the 8 Molotov cocktails. Heifler also put rags near the Molotov cocktails. Heifler explained that he would not place the rags into the Molotov cocktails until right before the attack on victim one's residence to ensure the efficacy of the Molotov cocktails. During the assembly of the Molotov cocktails, Heifler reiterated to the UC that some of the Molotov cocktails would be thrown at cars and some would be thrown directly into victim one's residence. God damn. After the assembly of the Molotov cocktails, law enforcement executed a federal search warrant at the residence and recovered 8 Molotov cocktails. Members of the FBI's bomb technician squad conducted a preliminary analysis of the Molotov cocktails, including a field test of the liquid inside the Molotov cocktails. The field test was positive for the presence of ethanol, a known ignition liquid for improvised IEDs, basically. The preliminary analysis was that the Molotov cocktails were destructive devices. Heifler did not apply to nor receive approval from the Secretary of the Treasury to make the firearms. Yeah, they got that boy. So basically, while they were doing the operation, they were getting a search warrant at the same time. And once it was confirmed, they kicked the door in and they probably arrested both the guy and the undercover. They arrested them both at the same time. That's what more than likely happened.
Was part of a group chat that was infiltrated last month by an NYPD detective. When Heifler expressed interest in Molotov cocktails, the detective messaged him directly, where investigators say Heifler revealed his plan to firebomb the Staten Island home of Nurdin Kiswani, the co-founder of one of the largest Palestinian-led community organizations in New York, within our lifetime. The criminal complaint says the New Jersey man eventually met up with the detective, even meeting outside Kiswani's home. On Thursday of this week, prosecutors say the detective met Heifler.
Yeah, they got that boy dead to rights. Because all these meetings with the undercover guys were absolutely recorded. And obviously you got the undercover that's going to testify against him. And he was there. The undercover, like, it seems to me like more than likely what happened was they were building the Molotovs, and then the UC gave the code word, and then they hit the house. And then when they hit the house, they arrested both the undercover and the bad guy to make it look like they're both going to get busted. What's good, Myron? Just created a new clips channel last week. Do you mind showing the page some love? Waylo just made it. Are you posting consistently, though, Waylo? Got to be consistent, man. Waylo, you slacking, bro. You slacking, nigga. I'm a subscribe, but you slacking, bro. What is this? You got to drop more than one video a day. But yeah, guys, and you got to drop some shorts too, bro. Okay, so one short. Okay. All right, that's good. Now, so with the shorts you're posting. Okay, here's this channel, guys. I'll drop the link in here. Okay. You're my go-to for news because all the news channels, political commentators are cooked in my country. Yeah, I know they're cooked, bro. Like Benny Johnson, for example, had an interview with JD Vance, and he spent like 5 minutes on the Iran war, bro. Like, what? John F. Kennedy says, win here, you know it. 88 Dragon, thank you so much. Welcome. Boys, how do the feds find these people who want to blow shit up and commit terrorist attacks like this? They infiltrate groups. Joe says, fake monster false flag. This video was buried because it was shown to the Mossad mass unliving event. Can you react? Brazil caught their ass. Trump saying live during his speech yesterday that Mohammed bin Shalom kissed his ass diabolical. Such an embarrassment for Saudi and the other Gulf countries. Yeah, I did see that too, kind of. I did see that as well. Yeah, Trump has like no respect for his foreign partners, bro. It's kind of crazy. Like it's actually kind of nuts. So
at his Hoboken home, where they made 8 Molotov cocktails, and that's when law enforcement moved in. Police sources say Heifler, who is an alleged member of the violent extremist organization Jewish Defense League, told...
And for those of you that are wondering, they were designated as a terrorist organization a while ago, actually. The JDL. Far-right political organization in the United States, Canada, and France has stated a goal to protect Jews from anti-Semitism by whatever means necessary. It's described as a far-right right-wing terrorist group by the FBI in 2001. So let's see here. It was formed in 1968. This is the group, actually, if I'm not mistaken. This is the group that bombed the Canadian guy. Oh man, what's his name? The Canadian guy, chat, that went to jail for the Holocaust. Zundel, Ernest Zundel. This guy, if I'm not mistaken. This guy, Ernest Zundel, was attacked by the JDL in Canada. They firebombed his house in Canada because he was passing out pamphlets questioning the Cookie Monster event. You know how that goes. All right, let's rewind this a little bit.
New York within our lifetime. The criminal complaint says the New Jersey man eventually met up with the detective, even meeting outside Kiswani's home. On Thursday of this week, prosecutors say the detective met Heifler at his Hoboken home, where they made 8 Molotov cocktails, and that's when law enforcement moved in. Police sources say Heifler, who is an alleged member of the violent extremist organization Jewish Defense League, told the undercover cop he planned to flee to Israel after the attack. In responding to the attempted assassination, Kiswani vowed she will not stop speaking up for the people of Palestine. questioning why Heifler was only charged with firearm possession and not terrorism or even a hate crime. The U.S. Attorney's Office said this investigation is on.
More than likely what they're going to do is they're going to, they just needed some charges to get, because that's easily explainable. A lot of the times the AUSA will go with the easiest charge on a criminal complaint, and then they'll do what's called an indictment or a superseding indictment down the road. Will they attach more serious charges? That's why the charges in the beginning are pretty simple. You just want to get them filed in and get them into custody quickly, and then you can always add charges later on.
Ongoing, and more charges are pending.
For now, Heifler is being held without bail and could be back in court for a hearing as soon as next week.
And that's very common. You use the simplest charge you can to get them arrested under, on a criminal complaint. Then you come in and you file the more complex charges under the indictment or a superseding indictment to come later on. Very common, especially when you do a criminal complaint. Because remember, they're doing the investigation actively and they're writing a search warrant as the undercover is in place, chat. So they're looking for the fastest way to get them into custody quickly.